Hello, everyone. Your insane author here, and I just wanted to introduce you to one of my writing processes. So, building a fantasy world is very hard to do and very tricky. However, something that does help is if you make a version of your fantasy, like city, village, kingdom, out in Minecraft. See, what I do is I make these worlds, and Minecraft takes screenshots either for drawings or how to enact a scene in my story. And this is one of my favorite I've done. I call it the Jungle City. Guarantee the lights a bit. It takes a minute to load. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to pause you guys until it loads. Alright, it finally loaded. So starting off here, we have this main base I made. Guarantee I did all this in creative because I'm not doing all this shit in survival. So here is, I think where the main character is going to be. This simple jungle base. And something that I really liked that's kind of not that important is that I used vines to cover up the stone texture on this thing. And I use this barrel right here to hold my supplies for other stuff. Now, straight across from that is this place where I guess the tree people make their armor. So here's what their armor looks like. Green leather dye, bamboos for their weapons, and creeper heads. Here's some of their outfits. A pot and iron. Or anvil, I mean. And here's where the armor crafter sleeps. And they have this balcony of leaves that I thought was clever. And right across from there is the library. There we go. So right across from there is the library. Here are these torches. I had to put multiple lanterns around because there's just so many mobs that spawned. And I just didn't want a creeper to blow up my shit. So here is the library. There are like 2 islands of books. Now across from that is... I forgot I have to get out of here if I want to get out. Close that up. So right across from there is this place, which I think I could turn into like the town hall and stuff. So here's my plan. This is already practically done. So what I want to do is I want to go over here and make a giant flower area, because in my story, plants have been separated into different factions. This is trees, so they have a jungle, but I want to turn this into a garden area for the flower people. And then maybe over here I could try to fake a swamp for fruits and vegetables, or for carnivores or mushrooms. So the factions are fruit, vegetable, mushrooms, carnivorous plants, trees, fruit, vegetables, carnivorous plants, mushrooms, flowers, and trees. So there are 6 factions. So this is practically done. So one thing I really want to add... Fuck, I need to add more torches over here. One thing I really want to add is... One thing I really want to add is a giant golden tree in the center of all of it. Because in my story, the fictional race I created, Arachnians, they have tribes for different elements. So the plant people, or the plant Arachnians, so they live in this giant golden tree where they're kind of worshipped as gods. And what they do is every 100 years they drop a seed-like capsule with their magical venom in it. So whenever someone drinks it, the first thing that they bloom in their hand, being it a fruit, vegetable, a mushroom, etc., that's what house they'll belong into afterwards. But most of the time, they will pick someone who already fits in that category or already lives in this world. So this is my jungle city. I don't have a name for it yet, but I do know I want to add some other stuff like over here. I am happy with like this town square area, and this I might turn into a hospital, like very juvenile versions of them, yes, but still. But one thing I want to add is I want to see if I can move to that tree right there, build a bridge over to make a giant structure, maybe a dojo, so people can fight. And I think I'll be done with this jungle city. Then I'll move over across the water for the Flower Society, and then I'll maybe do a swamp. And then fruit and vegetables pretty much fit in the same category, but they like hate each other, but they can't live without one another. So they have a similar area. The swamp will have a mushroom-based society. So I think I'm going to put the flower area right here. The swamp maybe over here somewhere. And I'm definitely going to do the fruit and vegetables right here. Carnivorous plants are going to be hard to do, but I'm going to try to impersonate a dark forest. So I might need to do it. This place has already been planned out, so maybe I could do it like over here somewhere. But I know that dark forest is going to be heavily dark, like red vines and shit. But one thing I want to look for is a red. I know they don't have a red version of this, but God, would it be good if they did. Maybe what I can do is I can mix this gray right here with some red wool, giving it like a dark forest vibe while also using these vines. So maybe also add some of this red coral if I could, but that'll turn gray. So I want the dark forest to be colorful because I think a lot of cool like medias is when a dark thing is like bright and colorful instead of being dark and edgy. One of the best examples is Coraline from Leica Studios, because the other world is so bright and colorful that it almost hurts to look at sometimes. So that's what I want to take inspiration of with the Dark Forest. I want it to be bright, like a ominous bright, you know what I mean? So basically this is a way I can build my world out a bit more if I actually build out my world. Why do I have a shield? I don't need a shield. Oh, another thing I do is I make my characters in Minecraft. This is my main character in another story I'm working on called Cole. He's one of my favorite characters that I've done. Oops. Say hi, Cole. I'm so fucking stupid. Yeah, so this is a way to help you build out your world and fictional story. One thing I really added for Wooderzin is that I also like making ideas. So basically, what I wanted to do was have like a bunch of brown pandas all around, because in this world, brown pandas are kind of like worshipped as gods. Well, not gods, but they're the Arachnians' favorite animals, so they're highly protected. So they're all around, like the jungle world. Oh, and something that's really important in my story, that it's kind of a spoiler, is that the planet that they're on is Earth, but it's like rebooted in a way. So it's like changed. Like Africa is now called Inferno, and it's separated as the 3 stages of fire: Scorch, Ash, and Spark. And those areas are kind of like based off of other lands. Like Scorch is like the Himalayas, or like heavy mountains and rough terrain, while Ash is like a black sanded Egypt thing. So much so that they actually do have pyramids that the Arachnians built as palaces for themselves. But that's like a starting process. Oh, another thing is I added a garden right here maybe what I could do is like bring it all the way over here. It's kind of like a gardenous bridge. Actually, I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to do that. So first, I need to. Damn it. I'm a bit rusty. Give me a break. You know, one weird joke's always been popping in my head recently, where it's Adolf Hitler screaming at his superiors or his generals, and for some reason Abe Lincoln, or not Abe Lincoln, George Washington shows up and pulls out a fucking giant ass Snickers. I don't know why, but I had that joke in my head when I was dreaming. I'm like, what the fuck? So I guess it's funny if so I guess it's funny if George Washington just hands Adolf Hitler fucking Snickers. So yeah, here's a soil bridge that leads to the gardening society. The gardening society. I think that's what I'm going to call it. Or the flower people. So I'm definitely going to blow out this tree, add some debris right here. I do know I want to add flowers. That's actually why I love the sniffer so much, because I think it's honestly such a cool mob. Because I love flowers, especially like fantasy fictional ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop all this stuff off. Honestly, it would be pretty fun doing a gaming video with you guys. Ooh, or what I could do for the Dark Forest is use this redstone block. That's another place where I got my inspiration, is Minecraft Story Mode, because, oh my god, Minecraft Story Mode is so good. I love Minecraft Story Mode so much. So, flowers, flowers, flowers. I need these. Another thing that I kind of hate with this new monitor I have is that I need my glasses to see, or else I cannot fucking see. So, yes. I want to grab bright, colorful flowers to make it look bright and colorful. Okay. Now, for the most important thing, is that I'm going to need a barrel. I believe I have it in this chest. Nope. So, here's probably where I have a bingo barrel. I prefer the barrel rather than the chest in Minecraft. I don't know why. I just think it looks better. Alright, here we go. So now, time to add these flowers into the barrel so I can use them later. Because first what I want to do is I want to do some demolition. So another thing that I really like doing for my writing process is I like talking to myself in a way where I'm having a conversation between two characters, which, yes, makes me look crazy. But however, it does make it so it's easier for me to understand how these characters feel, how these characters think, how these characters actually have a better idea. Anyways, back to what I was saying. It's better for me to do that because it's more easier for me to understand how these characters think and feel. Because some of these characters I want to be really in depth, so I'm kind of like pretending to be those characters in a role. One thing I do want to learn though is one of my characters, Cole. This character that is my skin. The thing is that his mother killed herself after he was born, or well, when he turned 16, because he's technically a child. Back to what I was saying is that the main character's mom was SA'd, so she kind of hates him for that, and he has a lot of mental health issues for being the child born of that. So he discovers this thing called the red coin that will grant anyone any wish. So he seeks out to try to find it to wish for his mother to have a second chance at life. But there is one thing I want to learn, and that's how to do that properly. Because the thing is, doing stuff like that takes a lot of time. Because you got to understand how someone could actually feel from that. So I think that's the biggest thing I want to learn. So, yeah. What color should I do? That's colorful. Yeah, that'll be the wood for my trees for the colorful forest. Now, the thing is that I want the colorful forest to have more than just one simple bitch boy color of leaf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pink. Then I'm going to... Where's the color wool? Wool. There we go. Red. Green. So I guess it's practically like the dark forest next to the rainbow forest. Alright, that's another thing. In my story, there is something called the Heroes of Rainbow, and the Heroes of Rainbow, one of them murdered the main character's mom in cold blood in a drunken rage. So the main character is now searching out for these Heroes of Rainbow to try to kill them. So he meets them all. So like the Heroes of Rainbow, or like the Heroes of Color, are the Blue Knight, the Red Samurai, the Purple Monk, the Yellow Archer, etc., etc. But he discovers that none of them are worthy of anything like that. Or, well, he realizes that none of them are capable of taking a life while they're drunk. So he actually discovers that the person who granted them all their powers, this Arachnian called Rainbow, killed his mother. So yeah, that's a big important thing. Also, another important thing is that there's this entity that kind of like is pushing to a dark side called Neon, who's practically kind of like the yin to yang of color. So I just want to tell you guys about that. Ooh, lily pads, definitely. So that also means I'm going to have to do a pond. Where's water? Water. Alright, I have everything that I might need already set to go. It's kind of like when you're like cooking, so you like take out the ingredients firsthand, so you don't have to like search for them like an idiot. Alright, so got that all. It is getting dark, but I just wanted to show you guys that process. Anyways, this is me signing off. Sorry, this is me signing off, guys. Bye-bye.